Hello and welcome to the Amazon Prime Video New York Comic Con panel for The Expanse. I'm Dominique Tipper and I portray Naomi Nagata on the show. And if you haven't finished season 4, it's your own fault. We're going to spoil it. But welcome. Joining me, I have Stephen Strait, who plays Jim Holden.
Hello.
Wes Chatham, who plays Amos Burton. Yo, yo, yo.
Yeah.
We have Shore Odashlu, who plays Christian Avasarala.
Woohoo!
We have darling Frankie Adams, who plays Bobby Draper.
Yes.
We have Kara D, who plays Kamina Drummer.
Pose.
We have Naren Shankar, showrunner and executive producer. Yay! We have Ty Frank, co-author and exec producer. And Daniel Abraham, co-author and exec producer. Hi everyone.
Hello.
How you doing, babe?
And we have Dominique Tipper, who plays Naomi Nagata. Woo!
That's right.
So, I mean, it's so amazing that we're here virtually. I guess this is life now in 2020, and it's been a while. I just love seeing all your faces. How are you all doing? Or should I not ask?
We're doing great.
We're all doing great.
We're here.
Okay, good. So, we are here to talk about season 5, as you all know. And I don't know about you guys, but I am dying for everyone to see it. I think this is our best season. I don't know what you guys think.
I agree.
I agree wholeheartedly.
I agree.
Yeah, I think we've kind of knocked it out the park. So listen, before you watch any further, I'm just going to say again, make sure you are caught up on season 4, because not only will we be spoiling that, but we also have some spoilerific season 5 surprises and stuff to show you today. So this will actually be a surprise for you guys as well. So I hope everyone's excited.
Yes.
Okay, so there's a lot of us here today, and I know you guys will want to hear from everyone. I want to hear from everyone. So let's get started. I want to start with our creators, Ty, Daniel, and Naren, and I would love you to give us your insights into what we can expect from season 5.
In the writer's room, when we started season 5, we always kind of put the big theme up on the board. And this year it was, for season 5, it was you reap what you sow. And that is really, that was the, that is every storyline in one fashion or another.
So can you guys just talk about some of those seeds that we planted and how you went about kind of crafting the storyline in that way so that we now get this payoff in season 5?
Well, we've been talking about Naomi and her backstory in hints and little bits since season 1. We've been having things, there were conversations she had before they had the Rocinante that to pay those off. I think that length of just building to it is part of what makes it interesting.
Yeah, very much so. And even the same with Amos. Like, I don't feel like we got as many seeds from him in the beginning, but now we're going fully into his past.
Well, I mean, we have some pretty subtle stuff for Amos. In an earlier season, we see him actually on the Rossi on a computer looking somebody up on Earth. And if you look at if you zoom in on the screen, it's Lydia Malouf, who is a character from his past.
Yep.
So there's the names of people from his past that sort of get dropped in very subtle ways.
Well, he also talks about Baltimore. That becomes a reference point several times in the show. And then there's that moment in season 3 when Monica is making the documentary. There's talking about Amos Burton and who that was and how Amos got into the lottery really quickly. And isn't that odd? And then he smashes the camera.
Yes. Guys, I guess then adding on to that, talking about the writer's room, we can't really not talk about how the Expanse tends to really create fiction that is scarily on point with reality. And, with what's going on in the world today and how allegorical, like to almost a T, the show is. Can you speak a little bit about that? Because guys, Ty and Daniel, you wrote the books how many years ago now? So do you do you consider yourselves modern day prophets? And do you think all of this is your fault, or are we just, are you just predicting human nature?
I do take credit for all the bad things that have happened, but Daniel and I talk about this a lot, that we're never trying to do that. We're never trying to write about any particular thing that's going on when we write the books, but we both are big fans of history, and we tend to write about things that we've read about in history and try to drag those forward. And what we've realized is that humans do the same dumb stuff over and over and over again. So if you write about some stupid thing humans did 3,000 years ago, there's a pretty good chance somebody's doing it today. Yeah. And it just keeps happening.
One of the things I think has come out of the whole project is the idea that technology changes a lot and changes dramatically what the lived experience of people is, but humans don't really change that much.
And I guess that's what makes the viewing so compelling, because again, like we said, it is like a mirror. It very much holds up a mirror to society. What are you most excited for people to see this season, and how is it different from seasons before?
Well, we talked about Nemesis, the goddess who punishes you for your hubris, and Narain talked about reaping what you sow, really getting to take each individual member of the show that we've sort of fallen in love with over 4 seasons and really got a good sense of who they are as people, and then sort of peel back the layers and expose the crucibles in which those people were formed, and why they have the attitudes they have, and why they have the view on the world that they have, and really sort of expose it and also pressure test it. Can the person they've become survive the most high pressure situations they've ever been in their life? Can they come through it with their ideals and principles intact? That's what the whole season is about, and it's really fun.
It felt like it was both the most epic and yet the most personal season we have ever done simultaneously.
So, guys, remember the surprise I was mentioning? Yeah. Earlier?
Yeah.
Well, we have the very first trailer for season 5. Let's take a look.
Hands down. And so excited.
There we have a release date, which is December 16th, as you guys saw. And also, I have some extra.
Merry Christmas!
Yeah.
Merry Christmas.
But also, I have some extra information. So look, guys, we heard you. Fans, we heard you. We know you wanted options, so we're about to give you some. So when it drops on December 16th, you will get the first 3 episodes first, so you can binge those. And then each episode will be dropping weekly after that from December 16th. So, you can do your live tweet, and maybe I'll come back on Twitter and we can go back to that again. I don't know. You can gather in your groups and watch, but that's what we've got for you now. So tweeting groups ready.
It's going to be great to have that conversation back.
So, cast members, cast friends, let's, off the back of that trailer, get into talking about our characters and let's talk about their journeys. What I want to ask you is, where do we leave your character at the end of season 4, and what are they about to embark on in season 5? What do they learn? What do we learn about them? So I will start with my character, Naomi. Basically with Naomi, we leave her in season 4 having had that awful time on Ilus. But all the Rosie crew are back together, which is fab. But in season 5, Fred helps Naomi find her son, Philip, who is somebody that she's been looking for a long time. And he eventually finds her, and she sets off to go find him, to save him, because there is a bounty on Marco's head. And also, Naomi leaves Holden behind, and they have quite an emotional severance. So, Stephen, do you want to then expand on how it is for Holden, where we left him in season 4 and then going on into season 5?
Yeah, so Holden, at the end of season 4, has really kind of found his feet, I think, as a leader. But, on a more personal level, the family of the Rossi crew is really kind of settled in, and we get to see Holden and Naomi in a much more domestic environment than we've ever really seen them before. And with Miller now gone in totality, he's really the only one left who is deeply concerned about what he has seen in terms of the entities that kill the proto-molecule builders. And his eye is still, his focus is still on that, as so many other things are going on around the system. He knows what's looming out there, and he's deeply, deeply concerned about that. And that also, that ties into him on a personal level, trying to get back to Naomi, in any way that he can.
Yeah, he looks very well Holden when we first find him, I find. He's like rested and like for once isn't fully
it's the first time we see him like doing okay in the beginning.
That's how you know it's all about just shit.
Yeah, of course. I mean, that's the rug is coming right out from under his feet, like when that happens, right? So.
And so, Shore, where do we leave Avasarala at the end of season 4, and what is she going into in season 5?
Well, we leave her with 1,000 questions in her mind, bewildered, wondering whatever happened. You all recall that she never wanted to run for office. When Senator Gillis asked her as to why she didn't want to run for office, she said, "Because I would like to get shit done, sir." She said that. But then, at a certain moment, she felt like she had to run for an office. Now, she's not only lost the election, she's also lost her husband as a result, and because she was truly interwoven with her profession. She's in love with her job. So, but she doesn't feel like a loser. She feels like she's wiser, and she understands a lot more about what's going on now. And she's finally finding out that running for an office is a lot harder than getting shit done.
Would you say that in season 5 she gets some done?
No matter what, she would get done. These women, these strong women, they fall, but then they immediately stand up, they rise.
And that's a huge part of her journey, yeah.
Exactly. We learn so much about falling downs. It's fine.
And Wes, can you tell us a little bit about Amos's journey? Where do we leave him? What journey is he about to embark on in season 5?
In the beginning of this season, he gets news from his hometown, and he has some personal business that he needs to go take care of. In the process of doing this, he has to confront his internal and external demons that have kind of created and shaped and molded him to become who he is. And in doing that, he realizes and has a deeper understanding of how important the Rossi crew is for him and being in his life, and how important it is for him to get back to them.
Fab. And Frankie, so where do we leave Bobby, and what journey does she go on in season 5? Because season 4 was quite intense for Bobby.
It was very intense, yeah. And well, at the end of season 4, she's convinced there's something fishy going on Mars. I think it was like the terrorist attack might have been the big hint there. And then she embarks on a journey to figure it out. And she does that with Alex. They kind of become a little team, and together they're just trying to figure out what's been happening on Mars.
Where do you think she's at emotionally in her journey of like being very, very dedicated to Mars and then gradually stepping away from that the more she finds out? Where do you think she's at the beginning of season 5?
Well, I think the whole journey for her has been a big identity shift. And I think in season 5, she's a bit lost, but I think she has much more of a connection to the greater good overall rather than what's just great for Mars. And that was quite a shift for her in season 4. But yeah, she's more focused on what is really important rather than what is good for me and my people.
So in season 4, of course, she lets Marco go, and she may come to regret that. I don't know. Maybe.
Objection.
I think her and Naomi share some of those kind of regrets.
Yeah. And so, of course, spoiler, our dear sweet Ashford has been killed. So I think that that's going to change something in her heart, because they had obviously become quite close and had a pretty loving relationship, actually, a camaraderie that she doesn't let many people in, drummer. So
No.
I think that's going to really shake her. And of course, she has quit. She has quit the OPA. She has left Tycho. She says, well, she punches Fred Johnson right in the face.
Hey.
Right in the face. That is her resignation letter.
I love that.
So she's off on her own. She's on her own. And of course the circumstances shift and change. So in season 5, I think where she thinks she's going to be changes very dramatically, very quickly. But she's on her own.
And
she's on her own.
I think that's what's great about this season is everyone's kind of off doing their own thing, but there is this one very dark, quite dangerous thread that pulls everyone kind of back to the center, I want to say. And it's probably my favorite thing about this season is like, normally we're all together kind of doing it, but we're not in this one. And it's just, I call this our Infinity War this season. So, yeah. I'm looking forward to how that plays out. Fab. Thank you, guys. That was great answers. Okay, well, it wouldn't be Comic-Con without fan questions, right? So we get asked loads and loads of questions. So I picked some of my favorites. So the first one is for the cast. Now, guys, what is your favorite detail about your character or your character's backstory? So Frankie, we'll start with you.
I like the relationship with her dad. Yeah, that I like that little detail.
And we learned something about some pets of yours, right?
Oh, okay. Well, I did learn something this season that we're quite different in this way, but Bobby had a pet rat named Mouse that she loved very much.
Yes.
Sadly, it passed away. Was it a boy or a girl? I'm going to say it was a female rat, and she passed away. It was a very... It was a very sad thing for Bobby.
Shore, can you answer that question? What is your favorite detail about your character's backstory?
Well, the 10 things that her father taught her, and she's living by them. Every single morning, she remembers every code that her father taught her, and she's living by it now. Nobody knows about that. It's only her that and it's because she's living with her father.
I love that.
The man is still alive in her.
Yeah. And Wes, what about you?
I think I really admire the loyalty Amos has with the Rossi crew. I feel like me personally, after the 3rd death mission that Holden led us on, I'd be like, you know what, Holden, it's been good, but I keep finding myself in these positions. I've already been shot 3 times following you, so I'll catch up with you later. We'll FaceTime every now and then.
Yeah, sure.
But I'm hanging out.
You're welcome. You're welcome, Amos. You're welcome.
And Stephen, can you answer that? What's your favorite thing, that either gets revealed in season 5 or just your favorite kind of detail or backstory kind of bit about Holden?
I love Holden's perseverance and always pushing to get Amos shot in every season. I think it's a very important point.
Or blind.
Every year. That's right. But I do love his perseverance, and I love that he grows through his failures. It's kind of a strength through humility, which is a very rare thing to be able to express in characters. Yeah. That's just not something I see very often in lead male characters. True. So it's a really cool thing to play.
Definitely an admirable quality. Mm-hmm. Kara G.
When I was first cast, I read the novella, The Butcher of Anderson Station, and that's well worth a read. Everyone, check it out if you haven't. And there's this female character who's with Anderson Dawes, and we sort of had imagined, what if that's drummer? And so there's a lot of details that sort of inspired me that came from that novella.
So this next question, I'm going to hand over to the creators. A massive fan of the show asked, how did you approach the design of the different ships to reflect the factions? Because obviously coming in season 5, we get to see a lot more of the different Belter factions. And so how did you go about that? Ty, we'll start with you.
You know, it's funny. When we very first talked about that, Narain and I and Daniel were talking about sort of the philosophy, and I just jokingly said, you know, the Mars ships are like Apple, the Earth ships are like Windows, and the Belter ships are Linux. And it really winds up like that. You know, the Belter ships seem like they're just cobbled together from a bunch of random pieces. It's functional, but it's not pretty. And we get to see a lot more Belter ships this season, which I was really happy about, because you get to see that sort of functional but not pretty version of their life.
Immediately, you can tell a Belter ship from a Martian ship from a UN ship, and each one sort of reflects the culture in its design. And it's actually a really great thing this season, because there's a lot of sequences in which you're seeing Belter ships, UN ships, Martian ships all mixed together. And it's become a really beautiful visual signature of the show. People can tell at a moment, you know, which culture we're representing by the spaceships that they're flying in. So it's pretty cool.
So now for a very hard-hitting question, who would win a race running in high heels, Wes or Shore? I really have to know.
Wes, don't you dare to put your feet into my shoes.
It just so happens, randomly, I practice running in high heels. I don't know what got me inspired, but I just started running in high heels to see if...
Wait, we should actually have this race and film it and put it online.
Hey, Sheree, you want to challenge me?
By all means, I would love to do that.
Should we put money on it?
Bring me my high heels! Hey, there's some interesting high heel Easter eggs this season as well. Keep your eyes out for those.
That's a good idea.
Yes, man, keep your eyes peeled.
Yeah.
Okay, so we have time for one more fan question. A fan noted that The Expanse has a powerful social conscience. So to everyone on this panel, do you believe that science fiction has a responsibility to spark conversation about social change, or at least mirror it? Shore, do you want to start with this one?
Look at this tableau. Look at this tableau we're watching now. This painting of different colors, different people from all walks of lives, from all over the world. This show is one of the most diversified shows I've ever seen in my life, and that I've ever had a chance to work on. This show, this tableau is global. This show is global. Therefore, it should be shown to the whole globe. And yes, it can start a conversation. Globalism, more than anything else.
And Kara, do you want to add to that?
I do think this is maybe the most diverse show on television right now. I don't think there is another show that represents as many different groups of people all in one show. And I'm obviously incredibly proud to be a part of that. And certainly the social issues that we're talking about in this show reflect issues that we're, having conversations about here and now. The value of natural resources, I think, is something that, especially for me as an Ojibwe woman, we talk about access to water here and now in our present, in Canada, supposedly a highly developed country, and it's still, not everyone has access to clean water. And that's just one small example of, that kind of environmentalism and social justice and how those ideas are connected. And I think that's a huge topic in our show. And I think being able to have those kinds of conversations on panels like this.
And I think that's probably the good thing about sci-fi, is that it can be an allegorical mirror to the world, because it's set in the future. It's kind of like, nobody really thinks the finger's being pointed at them, which is good in a way, because it allows people to kind of look at themselves in a kind of a way that's maybe not accusatory, but maybe raises the questions and the issues that are really important and are happening presently. So, yes, sci-fi is great for that. And I think this show is great for that. Well, thank you everyone for joining us. We wish we could have been in New York to hang with all of you, but we're in a pandemic, or we would have been there. We love you guys. Thank you so much for your questions. And we will see you for season 5 in December. December 16th.
Yeah.